Hello students, welcome you all for the course of MBA Semester 3 Human Relations and Legal Framework. So today is our lecture number 19 and we are going to have a discussion in our today's session on Workmen's Compensation Act 1923. So the objective of our today's session is to help to understand the concept of Workmen's Compensation Act 1923. The contents of our today's session are Introduction to Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, Object and Scope of the Act, some important definitions of this Act, applicability of the Act. The Act also defines disablement and the list of injuries covered in this Act. So we are going to start a discussion with Introduction to the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923. This is the first act wherever the workers could be get benefited by means of using some sort of social security measures. So government of India has made a very big initiative by introduction of this act, particularly that compensation would be provided to the deceased workman or deceased person, those who are employed in the any industrial enterprises. Actually that compensation would be given to the individual workman, okay, who has any sort of injury, okay, or it has been found that okay he suffered from some sort of disablement, okay, due to hazard or accidents in that particular industry. That compensation would be further extended to the dependents, okay, in case okay the workman has been dead, okay, due to accidents or hazards. So payment of compensation would be liable to the employer, okay, and this compensation would be paid to the individual workman as well as to their dependents, whoever the case may be. This Workmen's Compensation Act is also called as Employees Compensation Act 1923. Okay, so any industrial enterprises wherever workers are being employed, okay, and in that organization or industry, if any employee, okay, who has caused any kind of injury, okay, due to any industrial accidents, okay, or due to any sort of occupational diseases, okay, and that would arise in the course of employment in any factory and resulting into death or disablement, okay, they will be liable for compensation. So all employers are liable to pay the compensation to the respective employee under the Workmen's Compensation Act 1923. Okay. Object and scope of the act. So this act will provide some particular form of relief to the individual workman or to their dependents, okay, those who are employed that particular workman, those who are employed in the course of employment, okay, and cause to either death or disablement to that particular workman. The paying the compensation to that particular employee or the dependents of that workman, okay, is the liability of the employer, okay, to discharge his moral obligation towards his employees when they suffer from physical disabilities or diseases. So any sort of physical disabilities, okay, disablement occur due to accidents, okay, or hazards, or any other form of diseases during the course of employment, okay, or due to hazardous working conditions, they will be liable for compensation. So Act will also provide the benefit of that compensation to the dependents of the employees, those who are employed in that particular factory. Act also provide cheaper and quicker mode of disposal of dispute, okay, particularly relating to the compensation with respect to that deceased workman or to their dependents. There are some important definitions which are covered under this act. So here we will already talk about, this is called as either Workman's Compensation Act or Employee Compensation Act. This has been defined in section 2, okay, somewhere section 2n and somewhere in section 2 okay. So whoever exactly the workman or employee, okay, those are being treated over here in their particular compensation act. So any person other than whose other than a person whose employment is of casual nature, who is employed otherwise than the purpose of the employer trade or business, who is either a railway servant, a master, seaman, or any member of the crew of the ship, a captain or other member of the crew of an aircraft, a person recruited as a driver, helper, mechanic, cleaner, or any other means in the capacity of motor vehicle, a person recruited for work abroad by the company, okay, and it has been specified in the second schedule, okay. There are some particular person, those who are employed in any such capacity which has been specified in schedule 2 of the Workmen's Compensation Act, okay. They are being treated as either workman or employee. So in case of workman and employee, no any casual workers are being treated as workman or employee. All other workers, either railway servant, master, seaman, okay, or captain of the ship, driver, helper, they will be treated as a employee or workman. Or there are some specific schedule has been provided, okay, schedule 2, okay. There are necessary condition to define the workman, those who are being covered under this workman are employee. Then employer. Employer means it is a body of persons incorporated, those who are being recruiting the workers particularly to perform some particular jobs or operations by means of them. So they are being called as a body of persons incorporated, managing agent of the employer, or any legal representative of the deceased employer even also. So the former employer, those who are being employing the employees, okay, so they will be also called as the employer over here, or any person whom the service of the employee are temporarily lent or lent on hire by the person. So any person who are hiring any particular employee, maybe either on lent or rent or hire by that particular person, okay, or maybe and they are even also hiring some sort of apprentice, okay, they will be called as employer, okay, according to this act. Next is dependent, okay. Dependent means generally the relatives of any deceased employee, okay. So these are called as the dependents, okay. There will be some particular form of relatives, maybe a widow, a minor legitimate, adopted son, unmarried legitimate or adopted daughter, widowed mother. They will be considered as a dependent, those are directly dependent on the earnings earned by that particular deceased employee, okay. If wholly dependent on the earnings of the employee at the time of his death, a son or daughter who has attained the age of 18 years and who is infirm, okay. Person, those are being wholly dependent, okay, they are not earning, okay. uh, uh, if wholly dependent on the earning of the employee, those are employed in the industry, okay, on which these persons, okay, son, daughter who has attained the age of 18 years but they are dependent on that particular deceased person, those will be treated as dependent. There are some other conditions also with respect to the dependent. If wholly or part dependent on the earnings of the employee at the time of his death, okay, whenever the deceased person has died, okay, what exactly the dependency, okay, on the earnings of that particular employee. A widower, Okay, means any male person, okay, though who has been dependent on the wife, okay, a parent other than widowed mother, okay, parent particularly widowed mother, a minor legitimate son or unmarried legitimate illegitimate daughter or daughter illegitimate or legitimate or adopted if mother and minor if the widowed and minor, particularly in case of minor, okay, whoever exactly the minor, some particular clauses has been made under this particular act. A minor brother or unmarried sister or widowed sister if a minor. In case of minor, it has been already specified. Okay, if a deceased person has a brother or unmarried sister or widowed sister, that will be also considered as dependent according to this law. Widowed daughter-in-law. Okay, daughter-in-law. Okay, who has been widowed. Okay, a minor child of a pre-deceased son. Okay, any pre-deceased son, the if the son of that particular deceased employee has died, okay, and he has minor son, those who have been dependent on that particular deceased employee, he will be also considered as dependent. A minor child of a pre-deceased daughter who has no parent or child is alive. So any particular daughter of the deceased person, okay, but their parents of the child is alive, okay, they will be also considered as a minor in that case. Any paternal grandparent, okay, if no parent of the employee is alive, any paternal grandparent will be also considered as the dependent of the deceased person. Some particular clauses are being there with respect to child, daughter and son, okay, that should be specified under this act. So those are called as dependents. Then applicability of the act. Okay, this act would be applicable to all over India. Particularly, it should not be applicable to the workman who as covered under the Employee State Insurance Act 1948. So workers, those who are being registered under the Employee State Insurance Act 1948, they will be already entitled to get the compensation according to this Employee State Insurance Act, okay, and they will not receive any sort of compensation, okay, under the Workmen's Compensation Act as per the section number 53. This act can be also extended to some other employees, say for example cooks, those are employed in the hotels, restaurant, okay, power, liquefied petroleum gas industries or any other mechanical devices processing process of cooking or something processes has been goes in that particular industry. So act would be applicable to the all over India also. Then we are talking about disablement, okay. Whenever any particular person, okay, those who are being not able to work in the industry due to some sort of sickness, due to some sort of injury, okay, that was happened due to some sort of accident, hazards, okay, in that particular industry, wherever, okay, there is a possibility that there is a loss of earning capacity. So disablement means exactly a loss of earning capacity by an injury which dependent on the nature of injury, and percentage of loss of earning capacity will be partial or total. So whenever we are going to define disablement, disablement is nothing but a loss of earning capacity, okay, due to any sort of injury or suppose say um, the disease, okay, happened during the course of employment. So there will be two types of disablement. First one is partial disablement and second one is total disablement. So in case of partial disablement, okay, there will be two further classifications would be there in case of partial disablement. So there is called as temporary partial disablement and another one is permanent partial disablement, okay. In case of temporary partial disablement, the disablement which results into the reduction of earning capacity in respect of only that employment in which he was engaged at the time of accident. So whenever any sort of accidents was happened in that particular industry, okay, this means that exactly the employee's earning capacity in relation to other employment will not be get affected. So this is this sort of disablement, okay, maybe some sort of accidents happen in that particular industry, but they will be recovered after some particular time, okay. but their earning capacity would be affected for a limited period of time. So this is called as a temporary partial disablement would be there. Now in case of permanent partial disablement, okay, wherever the workers lost uh, uh, may lost their life, or may lost their body parts, okay, due to accidents or hazard. So in that case there will be a permanent partial disablement will be there, but again it is a partial disablement when the earning capacity of the workman in every employment which he was capable of undertaking at the time of accident, okay, according to section 2L subsection G, okay. So the earning capacity of the workman in every employment whichever the worker is liable to do, okay, during the period of accident. So every injury specified by part 2 of the schedule is deemed to be a result in the permanent partial disablement. So the government of India has listed, okay, the list of injuries which are being covered under the permanent partial disablement according to the schedule 1 of part 2 of the schedule 1. So there will be called as permanent partial disablement. So disablement in general which results it into the earning capacity is not only the employment in which he was engaged at the time of accident but in all other employment. So this is a permanent form of disablement where that particular employee would not work, would not able to work in any of the subsidiaries or other industrial enterprises. This form of disablement will be liable for compensation also. Then total disablement, okay, wherever the total loss of limb or the suppose say leg, okay, that would be covered for the compensation. Disablement whether a temporary or permanent nature which incapacitates the employee for all work which he was capable of performing at the time of accident. So at the time of accident, okay, whatever was being capable of performing the task, okay, or duties, okay, and that particular employee will not be able to work further in that particular employment unit. So in that case there will be a total loss of capacity, earning capacity to that particular employee, okay, that will be called as total disablement, okay. So it is an incapacity of the worker for all work he was capable of doing at the time of accident. So whatever form of work that he will perform, okay, he will be working in a full capacity over there, but now afterwards, okay, due to accident he will be totally lost his he lost, suppose there both the legs, okay, or both the limbs over there. In that case the total disablement benefit will be offered by the employer. Permanent total disablement would be there if the workman as a result of the accident suffers from any injury specified in part 1 of the schedule 1 or suffers from any combination of injuries specified in part 2 of the schedule 1, okay, as would be the loss of earning capacity, okay, when total to 100% or more according to section 2L subsection L. So this is called as a permanent total disablement. Now this is a damage, total damage to that particular employee, okay, that employee would be permanently not able to work in that particular factory due to, okay, his loss of, suppose say, both the limbs, okay, or both the legs. In that case, okay, this would be covered in part 1 of the schedule 1 and part 2 of the schedule 1 also. It would be the compensation would be calculated on the basis of loss of earning capacity, that loss of earning capacity when total to 100% or more. So how much percentage of injury has been happened to that particular deceased employee, that should be observed, okay, according to part 1 of the schedule has been specified under the this act, okay. So these are the list of injuries those have been covered under this schedule 1, okay, part 1, okay. This is what part 1. So list of injuries deemed to be a result of the permanent total disablement. So permanent total disablement benefit in the form of compensation would be given by the employer. So here you will find there are serial number would be there, number of injuries are being listed over here, and description of the injury, and how much percentage of loss of earning capacity of that particular deceased person, okay, that can be discussed over here. So loss of, suppose say both the hands or amputation at higher site, okay, suppose the any particular employee, those who have been lost his both the hands and he is not able to work in that particular factory further, so he will get a 100% loss earning capacity has been lost by that particular employee, so he will be compensated, okay. Here loss of hand and foot, okay, one hand and one foot has been lost, again 100% loss would be there, okay. Double amputation through leg or thigh, amputation through leg or thigh on one side and loss of other foot, okay. So in that case, okay, double amputation through leg, okay, if suppose somebody has lost the both the legs, okay, and even from thigh onwards, then he will be liable for compensation of 100%, okay. Loss of sight, okay, in that case if suppose one of the employee has lost his eyes, okay, eyesight, both the eyesights, in that case 100%. Very sore facial disfigurement, okay, if he has been lost his face due to hazard or accident, okay, his face has been damaged, in that case also 100% compensation will be given. Absolute deafness, okay, if the person has been become deaf due to noise or sound, okay, during that particular accident or hazard. Now there are some other sort of injuries, okay, those are also liable for permanent partial disablement. This is the permanent total disablement, and permanent partial disablement would be there, okay. So in that case, amputation cases, upper limbs and either arms would be there. So this is specifically related with limbs and other either arms would be there. So amputation through shoulder joints, okay, if one can lose their hand, okay, from the shoulder joint, okay, he will get 90% of loss, uh, percentage of loss earning could be 90%, okay, and depending on which the compensation would be calculated. Amputation below shoulder with stump less than 20.32 centimeter from the tip of the acronym, okay. So from the shoulder, okay, from shoulder 32.32 centimeter, okay, the other hand has lost, in that case 80% loss would be there, and in that case he will be also liable for compensation. Amputation from 20.32 centimeter from the tip of the acronym to less than 4 below the tip of the olecranon, okay, particularly just in between the hand, okay, particularly that is amputation of from shoulder, okay, except 20.32 from the tip of the acronym from elbow, suppose say to so that particular palm, okay, 70% would be there. Loss of hand or limb of thumb or four fingers of one hand, amputation would be given 60% would be there. Loss of thumb, one thumb would be there, 30% total loss of earning. Loss of thumb and metacarpal bone, okay, means it is related with the hand palm side, okay, nearly 40% loss would be there. Loss of four fingers, okay, if somebody has lost four fingers, 50% loss of capacity would be there. Loss of three fingers, 30% loss capacity has been embarked over there. Similarly, there will be different sort of injuries has been made with respect to that Workmen's Compensation Act. So there will be different sort of loss of earnings has been recorded, and depending on that, their total compensation would be calculated and finally given to the deceased person. So this is the amputation cases of lower limbs specifically, and some other injuries, say for example loss of one eye, okay, without complications or other being normal, okay, loss of one eye and other being normal, then in that case 40% will be there. Minor injuries would be there. Loss of vision of one eye without complications and disfigurement of eyeball, and other being normal. If one eye is okay and there will be some damage to that particular eye, very there is a possibility of loss of vision. In that case, 30% loss capacity would be loss of partial vision of one eye. Okay, so if this form of partial injury would be there, okay, which could be a treatmented, okay, in the hospital and could be get recovered after some time. Fingers of right or left hand index finger, particularly whole index finger, okay, 14% total loss. Two flangages, okay, two flangages means two parts of that particular finger lost, 11% would be there. Okay, one flangages flanks, 9% would be there. Gluteating amputations of tip without loss of bone, okay, 5% would be there. Similarly, in case of middle finger, okay, 12%. Whole finger, suppose somebody has lost whole finger, then 12%. Two flangages, two parts of the middle finger, okay, 9% will be there. One flanks, okay, one part, 7%. Glutathione amputation means at the end, means just the beginning, particularly um, whenever there is a nail side would be there, then 4% would be there. Similarly, ring finger or little finger would be there, the whole finger would be lost, then 7% loss capacity. Two flangages, two parts of the finger, 6%. One flanges, okay, 5%. Okay, glutathione, 2% would be there. Okay, toes of right or left foot, great toe, okay, means the big toe, okay, particularly in the foot, okay, foot finger, 14% would be there. Part of that particular toe, 3% would be there. Any other toes, okay, rest of the other foot fingers, 3% and 1%. Two toes of one foot, okay, 5% and 2%. Okay, three toes of one foot, okay, excluding great toe, okay, means the big toe and other toes has been lost. In that case, okay, 6% and 6% would be there. Four toes of one foot excluding great toe, okay, big toe has been excluded and rest of the other fingers has been lost, means four fingers were lost. In that case, it will be 90%. So these are the list of injuries who have been given under this Workmen's Compensation or Act, or Employees Compensation Act 1923. So this compensation has been provided by the employer due to any sort of injuries and some sort of occupational disease has happened during the course of employment to that particular uh, deceased employee. So in this way, this Workers' Compensation Act would be get implemented. So that's all for our today's session. Thank you very much.